That's why he divorced you. 15 years. 15 years you couldn't even give my man a child. A real woman builds a family. You're nothing but a barren waste of 15 years.
My girlfriend is right. You've embarrassed yourself long enough. I think it's time you leave.
Oh, don't worry, Vivian. I'll give him the family you never could.
Barren. That's the word she used. In front of 300 people, in the middle of a room I designed with my own 2 hands, a girl half my age looked me in the eye and called me barren. And the man I gave 15 years of my life to, he wrapped his arm around her and told me to leave. So everyone in that room thought the same thing you're probably thinking right now, that I lost, that he traded me in for something younger, and I was too broken to even fight back. I let them think it. I let every single one of them think it. Because here's what none of them knew. Not him, not her, not one person watching me walk out those doors with a tear on my face. I wasn't the woman who lost everything that night. I was the only person in that room who knew exactly what was about to happen next. I gave that man my name. I gave him 15 years, and I gave him one more thing, a secret I buried so deep it could burn his whole world to the ground the day it surfaced. He humiliated me in public. He had no idea I'd been protecting him in private for years. My name is Vivian Ashcroft, and they all thought they watched me break. They should have asked themselves why I was so calm. Why would a devoted wife stand silent while the man she built an empire beside handed her to a stranger? Why did the executives of a billion-dollar company still rise when a discarded ex-wife walked in? And that young woman rubbing her belly like a trophy, what was she hiding behind the calls that made her flinch every time her phone lit up? Before we go any further, before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Because the answer to all 3 questions is the same woman. And by the end, the room that laughed at her will wish they'd looked closer. Chicago, art school, both of them broke. He held up one of her sketches like it was scripture. I can sell anything, Viv, but I can't make anything. You've got the vision, I've got the drive. Put them together and we don't just make furniture, we make things people fight to own. You're either a genius or a con man. Why not both? That laugh is what she married. One more no gets us closer to a yes, he'd say, coming home at midnight, shoes worn through. You keep making them beautiful, I'll make them famous. One night on the warehouse floor, she made him promise, swear we won't become the people who forget the floor. Never. You're the reason for all of it. Nobody forgets their reason. But the world said yes, and the reason got forgotten. This whole collection came out of Grant's head, an investor said once. Actually, Vivian began, she helped. Grant cut in, smiling. Viv's got a wonderful eye for the little details. The details. Later, in the car, you called my life's work a little detail. Come on, it's a figure of speech. They want a face, Viv, not a committee. I'm not a committee, I'm your wife. And the best designer in the country. Can't you be both without keeping score? She let it go. She'd swallow 1,000 more. Then the 10th year nearly killed them. She found him at 3 a.m., shaking. It's over. The banks called everything. I built all of this, and now I'm going to watch it die. You're not watching anything die. I'll call my father. Absolutely not. I am not begging Walter Ashcroft. Then keep your pride and lose the company. Your choice. I'll save it, Walter told her on the phone. But only if the whole thing is restructured. Legally. I don't pour money into a burning house without knowing who holds the deed when the smoke clears. Whatever it takes, Dad. The documents came thick as a phone book. Just tell me where to sign, Walter. You saved us. Whatever it says, you saved us. Walter watched him a long moment. Read it, Grant. A man should always read what he signs. I trust you more than my own eyes right now. And he signed, page after page. He thought he was securing an investment. He'd just handed away who owned the empire, and the answer was no longer him. 5 years of success, and with every win, Grant got louder about who'd made it. You see this skyline? I built this out of nothing. We built it. You know what I mean, Viv? She did. That was the problem. But at home, the one thing money couldn't buy kept slipping away. Maybe this month, she'd whisper. Month after month, the answer came back empty. We can try another round, Dr. Voss said gently. But I have to be honest with you both about the odds. In the car after, Vivian reached for his hand. We don't quit, remember? One more no gets us closer. He didn't reach back. How much longer, Vivian? How long do I keep pretending this is going to work? And she heard it. The exact second this became you. What Grant never knew was that she'd asked for a full evaluation of both of them. You wanted both results, Dr. Voss said carefully. So here they are. Vivian, this isn't only you. It affects him too. She sat in the parking garage with the pages in her lap. It would kill him, she whispered to the empty car. It would kill the part of him that keeps him standing. I loved him more than I loved being right. So she folded the report into the bottom of a drawer and picked up the blame like it was hers alone. And the fire came. You know what I gave up to build this life? Grant said one night, glass in hand, standing over her. Everything. And you can't give me the one thing that makes it mean anything. That's not fair, Grant. Fair?
Do you know what it's
to build an empire with no one to leave it to? To be the last name on a company that dies with me because of you. Don't say that to me. Please don't say that to me. Why not? It's the truth. Every other man my age has a family. I have showrooms. I have a wife who's empty. Empty. The word hung in the air. Say something, he snapped. I'm sorry, she heard herself say. Sorry. To him. Sorry doesn't give me a son, Vivian. And he walked out. That night, alone in her closet, she pressed those pages to her chest and broke. I know it's not just me. I know it isn't. And I'm still going to let you blame me. What kind of woman does that? What kind of love is that? She had no answer. She closed the drawer. He slid the divorce papers across the same table where he'd promised never to forget the floor. I need a life that can still grow. I can't build a future on a dead end. So that's what I am now. A dead end. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. 15 years, Grant, and that's the word you reach for. Don't make this ugly. You can have a fair settlement. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? She looked at him a long moment. I want the man from the warehouse floor, but he's not here, is he? She signed. She took none of the empire she'd designed, only her role as primary designer. He thinks he's leaving me with nothing. He has no idea what he already signed away. Why aren't you fighting for any of it? Walter asked her later. Because he'd only learn to hate me faster, Dad. Let him keep his story. And when it comes apart? Then it comes apart in his hands, not mine. Then came Sienna Vale, 28, calculating in the exact way Vivian never was. I don't chase men, Grant, she told him early. I choose them, and I chose you. He mistook it for confidence. 6 months later, she was pregnant. This is my new chapter, Grant told a reporter, beaming. My real beginning. The woman who built his name was erased in a season. You're really going to the launch? Margaret asked her. I designed that room, Margaret. I won't be chased out of it. So she stood quietly at the back, and Sienna decided quiet wasn't enough. That's why he divorced you. Sienna's voice sliced through the showroom as she pointed at Vivian's face. 15 years. 15 years you couldn't even give my man a child. A real woman builds a family. You're nothing but a barren waste of 15 years. The room went silent. Vivian's face drained. Grant heard every word. For one heartbeat, she thought he'd defend her. Instead, he walked straight past her, wrapped his arm around Sienna, and looked his ex-wife dead in the eyes. My girlfriend is right. You've embarrassed yourself long enough. I think it's time you leave. Sienna smirked, stroking her belly.
I'll give him the
Oh, don't
family
worry,
you never
Vivian. I'll give him the family you never could. Vivian's lips trembled. A single tear rolled down. She said nothing. She turned, and she walked away. Everyone believed they'd watched a broken woman lose everything. They were wrong. You could end all of it with one sentence, Vivian, Walter said on the phone that night. You could tell the truth right now. I know, Dad. Then why won't you? Because the truth is coming for him whether I say it or not. And it hits harder when a man's whole life turns on him without a single push. That's your grief talking. That tear wasn't grief for the marriage, Dad. It was the second I understood he'd have handed me to the wolves any time it made him look strong. That's what I cried for. Not the humiliation, the confirmation. A humiliated ex-wife is supposed to fade. Vivian didn't. I'm not signing off on the expansion until you've seen the terms, Margaret told her. Margaret, technically I don't have the authority to. Technically, Margaret cut in, dry as a bone, is a very interesting word. Read your father's documents sometime. I'll wait. Then an invitation arrived, a confidential ownership meeting, her name on it. There must be a mistake, Vivian told the chairman's assistant. I'm just the designer now. No mistake, Ms. Ashcroft. Your presence is required. It always has been. Required, not invited. Required. They knew. They always knew. Something was protecting her. Something Grant had signed and never read. And a second thread was fraying. Who keeps calling you? Grant asked Sienna once. Nobody. My sister. Your sister makes you shake like that? I'm pregnant, Grant. Everything makes me shake. She turned the phone face down. He let it go. He was good at letting things go when they were convenient, but the calls kept coming, and one night a fragment slipped under the door, her voice low and racing. I told you, never this number. If this comes out before the baby's here, I lose all of it. Everything I built, so you stay gone. Then a click, and the phone pressed hard to her chest. That girl is terrified of her own telephone, Dad, Vivian told Walter. Frightened people make mistakes, sweetheart. I know. I'm not going to make them for her. I'm just going to let her. You've got your mother's patience and my instincts. God help him. He didn't want either of us, Dad. Two mysteries now, running toward the same room, because Grant had just called an emergency board meeting. This is the deal that makes us untouchable, he told his assistant. Get me that vote by Friday. He was certain the authority was his. He walked into that room to be crowned. He had no idea he was walking into the end of everything he thought he owned. This is the deal that puts us in the history books, Grant told the room, spreading his materials wide. I want to vote today. He looked up for the nods he was used to. Nobody was looking at him. Every head had turned to the far end of the table, where Vivian sat quietly. Everett? What's going on? Chairman Everett Lang cleared his throat. Grant, before we vote on anything this size, we need the approval of the majority shareholder. Fine, I approve it. Can we move on? It isn't your approval we need. Excuse me? You're not the majority shareholder, Grant. Grant laughed. Everett, I've run this company for 15 years. Of course I'm the majority shareholder. No, you never have been. The smile froze on his face. What? You never have been, Lang said again, almost gently. Grant turned toward the far end of the table. That's not possible. Walter's money protected the company. That's all those papers did. Vivian didn't gloat. Dry-eyed, hands folded, she spoke softly, which made it worse. 15 years I waited for him to read a single page. He never did. And now there's nothing left to read. My father protected the company, Grant, and he protected me. He saw what you were becoming before I'd admit it. What are you saying, Vivian? I'm saying the controlling shares came to me the day the restructuring closed. Years ago, every board vote since, you needed mine to pass it and you never knew. You signed away everything you thought you owned. You just never bothered to read it. Grant lowered himself into his chair like a man whose legs had stopped believing in him. How long have you known? Since before you divorced me. I let you keep your story. The one where you were the genius and I was the woman who couldn't give you a child. I let you keep every bit of it because I loved you, and I kept believing the man I married would come back before it went this far. She stood. Not one executive moved to stop her. He didn't come back. So now you get to keep the story you wanted. All of it. Every consequence. And she walked out, the empire she legally controlled watching her go, and Grant alone at the head of a table that was never his. He went home shattered. He found Sienna pacing, phone clutched to her chest, her face wet. We need to talk, and you have to let me finish. What is it? She pressed a hand to her belly. The baby. It's not yours.
I need a
The
test.
room tilted.
I'm not living
What?
on your word.
It's not yours, she sobbed. There was someone right before us, and I told myself it had to be you because I needed it to be you. I'm sorry. I need a test. I'm not living on your word. You don't trust me? You just told me the child isn't mine, Sienna. No, I don't. Days later, he read the result aloud to the empty kitchen, barely holding his voice. 0%. 0. The baby I told the whole world was mine. He found her packing. You used me. You used a baby that isn't even mine to get all of this. No, she shot back, cornered and cruel to the last. I gambled, and I lost. Same as you. The only difference is, you had more to lose, and you deserved to lose it. You threw out a woman who worshipped you. I just finished the job. Get out. Gladly. There's nothing left here worth taking anyway. She wasn't sorry. She was caught. There's a difference, and he learned it too late. He stumbled into his office and sank into the chair, and that's when he saw it. A plain folder among old files, Vivian's handwriting on the tab, a fertility evaluation. For both of them, dated years back. He read it 3 times.
Both
of us. He whispered to the empty room, pages shaking. It was both of us. And she knew. She knew, and she let me blame her. She let that whole room call her barren, to protect me. He had divorced the only woman who ever truly loved him because he was certain she'd failed him, when she had failed on purpose, in public, so he'd never feel what he was feeling right now. What did I do? He said, to no one. God, what did I do? He found her in the private office she'd always kept, the seat of everything, all along. Vivian, I found the report. I know what you did. I know you protected me. I know you took the blame in front of everyone.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was wrong.
loved you more than my
God, I was
reputation,
so
my
wrong.
dignity, my
She
truth.
let the silence stretch. I loved you, she said, quiet and even. More than my reputation, more than my dignity, more than the truth. I let a room full of people I respected believe I was less of a woman, so you could keep standing. His eyes spilled over, and he didn't hide it. And you threw me away like a mistake you were embarrassed to have made. You told me to leave. I know, he wept. I'll regret it every day I have left. Good, you should. She gathered her things without hurry. Where are you going? There was a child's fear in it. Somewhere you can't follow. Somewhere I can finally stop giving myself away and just live. She paused at the door. I used to think love meant making myself small enough for you to feel large. It took me 15 years and a room full of strangers to learn that isn't love. It's disappearing. And I'm done disappearing, Grant. She didn't slam the door. She closed it gently. The way you close a door on a room, "You're never entering again," and she did not look back. The truth reached the press without her lifting a finger. Grant kept nothing that mattered. The name he'd worn like a crown belonged, in the end, to the woman he'd discarded. And the last image is a quiet one. Grant, alone in the flagship showroom he'd chosen as the stage for his triumph, under lights that no longer felt like his, in a room emptied of everyone who once believed him. No crowd, no music, just a man and the silence of everything he threw away. Across the city, Vivian sat by a window, coffee going cold, not gloating, simply still and finally free. I didn't lose my family that day. I just finally stopped handing it to a man who was never going to keep it safe. He had the only woman who ever truly loved him, a woman who protected his dignity with her own name, and he threw her away in front of a room full of strangers for a future that was never real. So let me leave you with this. Would you have seen what he refused to see, or would you have believed the loudest voice in the room and let the quiet woman walk out the door? Tell me in the comments. I read them. We post a new story every week, so if this one stayed with you, subscribe, comment, like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and tap the bell so the next one finds you. This was the story of the woman everyone thought had lost everything, the one who was holding it all along. I'll see you in the next one.